Hey everyone, Tony here again. Wanted to do my daily video for Friday. This one I'm going to also do the S&P 500 because it gives us a good idea of the market's doing. Pretty much everything is down. So I just realized I'm like turning white here, whiter than I normally am. Okay. Whatever, it is what it is. So yeah, so this headline here, these are the only 7 stocks in the S&P 500 that have risen as the market has plunged. So yeah, it's not looking good for stocks, but it's also not bad. We'll go into the charts in a little bit, but it's, in my opinion, it's not bad. I know a lot of people are not happy. But yeah, so long story short, we have some, let me trust this thing. Yeah, it is what it is. So what do we have here? Oh, let me pop open in this. Yeah, so this gives you the little heat map over here on the right. You can see that mostly red. There's Microsoft is up 1%. Some other stocks are slightly up, but for the most part, it's not it's not pretty, but it's not. Hey, it's never going to be that great on a pullback, especially of this magnitude. So I just wanted to give you this bird's eye view of the different things. Now, there's always something going on, right? Something that you can make money on. Look at this IBIO. This thing just shot up. Oh, biotechnology. I kind of have an idea of what this does. This is probably coronavirus related. Um, let's see here. IBIO shares soar another 174% of hopes for China vaccine partnership. So yeah, you're going to have a lot of these speculative plays. It's not a bad idea. I had a comment in one of the previous videos. I think it was like maybe 3 days back or 4 days back. It was this week. Saying that it was a good idea to look into maybe like getting a basket of some pharma stocks or some biotech stocks. Definitely makes sense. I mean, it's just a play. I mean, it's crazy. Look at this. This gain is out of this world. So I guarantee you that most of today's winners are biotech related. Yeah. So we have here IBIO. We just saw it. Biotech, alt biotech, DYNT medical appliances, or OPGN medical laboratories, allied healthcare, biotech, 47 biotech, medical appliances, biotech, medical appliances, everything. I mean, almost everything that's oh wait, broadcasting. Wow. Oh wait, this is negative, of course. Jeez. Let me see here. Oh yeah. So yeah, you could just in these kind of situations, you just throw a freaking dart and you'll hit something that's like obviously coronavirus, medical, healthcare related, any kind of most good stocks in that industry are gonna most likely they're gonna make some. That's funny. Rex nutting. Um, they're gonna they're gonna pop a lot of times. So that's what's happening here. You have 165% gain, 110, 75, 70, 51, 48. I mean, crazy. IBIO with a 160. Oh, that's the same one. Yeah. So that's the gist of what I wanted to show there. And then I found this page. It's kind of cool. So corona.help. So it kind of gives you a bird's eye view. And I don't know, maybe I have too many things turned off for these people. Map hub, let's try to turn that on, see if that loads a map or something. But yeah, so I don't know how to interpret this. So it doesn't look as gloomy in my perspective as it may be. I don't know. But this is the way that I'm kind of seeing it. Let me see if I refresh. Maybe there's like a better heat map or something here. Let me try to load Cloudflare. See if by chance there's a map or something that can load here. Oh, well, it's a histogram or bar chart. So yeah, so we've increased, but it looks like I almost want to chart this. It looks like we're kind of plateauing. Not sure if that's true or not. So a lot of these numbers are up in the air. This also excludes suspected cases. So we have 83, almost 84,000 infections so far. Out of those, we have 2,800 confirmed deaths. That's, I mean, it's horrible. I mean, there's nothing good about that. It's just, it sucks. But the good news is that 36, almost 37,000 have recovered. So although it says here that this may be highly inaccurate and it's subject to removal. And just below that, so that right there gives you a lot of hope, right? I mean, I have hope. So if we scroll down, obviously the main areas here are mainland China and South Korea. I mean, they're like right there. Others, that's kind of broad. Italy, Iran, Japan, Hong Kong. U.S. has 60. I don't know where everybody here is tuning in from, but so there are 60. But from this 60, it's a little, I'm not really sure what to think about this, because from what I heard, out of this 60, I think 40 something were from the cruise, and they may be in quarantine. So I don't know. I don't know the reality there. But let's just take a quick look at this U.S. And 60 confirmed, 0 dead, 6 have recovered. So, I mean, crossing fingers, hopefully it's something that's not a... Actually, yeah, right here. On the left hand, you can see that 42 were from an unassigned location from the Diamond Princess. So that was that cruise ship. And it looks like 2 in Chicago, 2 in Sacramento. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in Cal. So actually more. You see here. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 cases in California. 1 in Boston. 1 or 2 in Texas. 1 in Texas. So yeah, it's a little bit scattered because it goes from California dominant and then jumps, I mean, across to Massachusetts. I mean, it's a big jump. 1 in Seattle. I mean, all we're missing is 1 in Miami, and you basically have all 4 quarters pinned. So hopefully it gets controlled, and but yeah, I mean, if it's as contagious as they're saying, I mean, if it's that spread around, even if there's only 1 or 2 cases, those are people that they've actually found. Who knows who they interacted with? Who knows who may have? So it's a little scary. So there's a lot of people doomsday prepping, getting supplies and buying water and food and all this stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to. It sounds a little over the top to me. So I don't know how. I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to downplay it, but I'm not so negative on it. I don't know how to interpret the data, but it seems to me that it's not as bad. It sounds like it's a bad flu that some people just, I don't know. Anyways, I just wanted to show you guys that there is that page. It's kind of useful. And now let's dive back into the S&P 500. I just went 9 minutes into news, which is crazy for me. Okay, so this is the chart that I last had open yesterday. I started off with a SPY, but I noticed that price was respecting the levels of the E-mini. So this is ES1 exclamation point. It's the current contract. So the one thing I didn't do yesterday was draw like, let me see. Let's draw from this low here in 2011. And I guess we could, well, probably this one here. It doesn't matter. But I'd rather go for that one because it actually basically touches here. So we got 1, 2, 3 touches. So a valid trend line from my perspective, and I have this weekly swing low to swing high, and you can see towards the end of yesterday, I was actually live recording this as that action towards the end of the day was happening, and it was literally crawling towards it in real time. It was I love it. I love that stuff. So I drew a couple of horizontals, and it's kind of interesting because the day has danced between it. So let me see if I can. One second here. I'm getting a message, so I apologize. And can't multitask. Okay, sorry. So it looks like we tagged exactly the 50%, maybe slightly lower, but I mean, that's again, Fibonacci levels, horizontals, not pinpoint precise. It's just a region, a zone. So swing low, swing high, 50% level was tagged. Now, I am so shocked that it happened that fast. Usually it happens in about 50% of the time that it took for this swing low, swing high to happen. So it would have been, let's say it took from August, it would have taken, well, it would have taken from December to, I mean, that's a full year's of action right there. Am I right or wrong on this? I'm on a weekly, so yeah, there's 61 bars. So well over a year. So I would expect the 50% to be tagged in about, 4 to 6 months. This happened in a freaking week. That's insane, but not bad. I mean, listen, if anybody had a short put option, anything here, congratulations. I hope you are very well off. I hope you're taking profits. I hope that you can, hopefully you made enough to retire or pay off your house or something. I mean, I hope. So anyways, swing low, swing high, 50% level, also a horizontal. And it's dancing between this horizontal and this horizontal that I drew yesterday. Now, if we go into a daily, you can see that today's price action. I don't know why I turned country there. So the days basically has been between the 38.2 and the 50% level, those two fibs. So that right there is super interesting. But most of today's the candle body has been between the two horizontals. Can't think. Another day that I can't think. So I usually don't like to zoom in too much, but why not, right? So let's go into the hourly and see how things have changed. Not how things have changed, but what's happened in the last. Let's see here. So yes, today's the 28th. So we're looking at this price action starting from this candle here and going all the way over here. So you can see that we're playing the range. So we're essentially in between those two horizontals, and we're forming a range here. So we already had a tag low, tag high, and we're dancing between there. So if you go, I mean, if you're like the type of person who's trading the 15-minute, you can actually do like a pretty nice job tagging some swing lows and swing highs here. Let's do a parallel just for giggles, and you can even go here and play there, and just play that tag low, tag high, tag low, tag, sell at resistance, buy at support, sell at resistance, buy at support, yada yada yada. You could do that if you were like a day trader. Yeah, because this took, how long did it take to tag low? Let's say sell at this resistance, and that would have been 315. Within an hour and 15 minutes, you would have profited, and maybe even taken, actually even less, because this is the one where you hit profit, right? So in an hour, you buy, and then you sell at near the top here, maybe even go for the 50 EMA. So you would have taken, that would have been 3 hours. So around here, 7:45 to 10 another 3 hours, you actually get, actually even before that, you get your profit. If you would have bought, who knows where your target is, but if you would have had it lower, you would have hit it. If not, then hey, maybe even stop, buy at this horizontal. Who knows what your plan, your strategy, whatever it is, but this is a cool little consolidation phase that you can trade on a very short term. I'm not going to say that I recommend it or don't recommend it. It's just, it is what it is. And so that was kind of interesting. So where are we going to go? I have no clue, but I'm assuming going back here to the daily, even the 4 hour. If we look at the 4 hour, I mean, this is a steep drop. This is very parabolic to the downside. So when things drop so sharply, I expect what they call a dead cat bounce. Just basically what's basically happening here. So we hit this level, this 50%. It ran through the 38.2. Didn't even think about I mean, it just freaking ignored it. So it just went past it and then bounced off that 50% level. So that to me was very interesting. I was expecting for it to maybe bounce at the 38.2 and kind of dance around there. Broke through it, found support here at the 50. If it would have broken through that, then obviously there's horizontal here at 27.92. All this basically I said yesterday, so I was kind of between there, that little zone. And if it broke below that, obviously 61.8 is always support. And then ultimate support would be down here at the 78.6, which also lines up with that not horizontal, trend line that I drew earlier. That would be some decent support there. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to think about it dropping below that because it would not be pretty. But now that we're here, really hard to say. I guess what we could do is we could draw a trend-based extension and go from this. Wait, did I draw that right? No, I didn't. To there and then down here, assuming that it's formed a local low. So if we do that, let me change the color of this guy. Go to yellow. And let's shrink a little bit. So yeah, it's hard to say if it's gonna, I mean, this would be forming new all-time highs, doing this fib retracement there from this swing low. I don't know. I think for me, it's better. I'm not gonna do extensions because if anything, I would draw extensions to the downside because we're on a downtrend, right? So let me try to draw a Fibonacci here. Oops, let me see. I can, yeah, draw from here down to the 50% level, give or take. And so a bounce, let's assume that this swing low stays the way it is and we don't break down further. So if that remains from this swing high to this swing low, a retracement of 38.2 before going further south. So, you know, it's right now, I mean, I'm just guessing. Signs for a pullback, something that'll bring us up to that 38.2 or the 3060 range, give or take, is we've hit on the daily. The RSI has hit pretty freaking low. I mean, it's currently about 17, give or take, and the stochastic is actually turning up now. So, not sure. Let me see if I can increase that. So you can see that not only did we broke below, but now we hit a bottom and now we're curling back up. So breaking past the slow on the stochastic. So that is, you know, gives a little bit of a bullish sentiment there. Not, okay, let me not say straight up bullish, but it's just at least short term bullish on the stochastic. Not really bullish on the RSI at all, but we are in the zone where we're likely going to see a bounce. Let's put it that way. So if we do have that bounce, where do we get? Where do we go? Most likely it'll be to this 382. So it'll be the 382, which is a 3060 target. Now, if we are thinking continuation to the downside, I would then argue the trend-based fib should be drawn like this, right? So we have this swing high, this swing low down here, and then assuming that we have a bounce at the 382, and there's no way for me to know, for anybody to know. It's just a best guess. Who knows? Nobody knows what the hell's going to happen. But if it were to happen overnight or during the next couple of days, that we hit the 38.2, we might bounce down to the 61.8 level, which happens to line up with this 0.618 here. That's called confluence. But it doesn't mean jack, because the market's going to do whatever it's going to do. So another thing to do, which I think is going to be the same thing, is to do this ABCD, and then assuming that it hits, let's assume that this is a straight line, it bounces up, hits a 382, and then we have a target of, that's right, the 100% there, which is just at that trend line. More confluence. I mean, I hate to say it, nobody wants to see the market dip this far, but it makes a lot of sense. Technically, this looks like it's something that's probabilistic. I can't talk. I apologize. It's likely to happen. It's gonna bother me. So yeah. So long story short, what I did was I drew a trend line A, B, and then assuming a pullback to the 38.2, C, D, which happens to line up by coincidence on the trend line, which would be support, which would then give us a bounce to the upside. So I hate to say it, but it looks like that 78.6, $2,548 region is a possibility if that happens. Now, of course, I mean, that's a big assumption of mine, right? I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen. It could keep going down, touch a 61.8, and then just bounce up and keep going up. It could go to the 23.6, which would probably be this horizontal, and then break down there. It could go to the 61.8. It can go to new all-time highs. Nobody knows. But from my experience, what I've seen with the markets and this kind of price action, this is usually what happens. And then this is kind of like the beginning. So then there would be a small retracement after this to the upside, maybe to this horizontal here at 2700, 2790, 2800, and then continued downside. If that's the case, that would suck, because that would break the trend line, and then that would not be pretty. So yeah, I don't want to be a doomsdayer. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of scary. What did I do here? Oh yeah, because I took it out of a log. Okay, I was like, why are these things not lining up now? Okay, so that makes sense. Stick to, draw your trends and draw all your stuff, and then keep the chart the same way, because if not, it messes everything up. So yeah, so I don't want to dirty this up anymore. It's just, this is a likely scenario, not guaranteed. Nobody knows what's going to do, but it could happen. So just prepare for that. If you are super skeptical, or you're bearish, then maybe this pullback might be in for maybe this will be good for you, where you can actually not take profit, but you can actually just use that bounce to your advantage. And then just another thing here that makes sense is that this 200 EMA is curling down there, so that might act as as resistance on the way up now, which is at the 38.2. So that's another zone there that's a little scary. Yeah, who knows? I don't even, I hesitate to offer suggestions or anything because I don't want anybody to jump on and trade something just because I said it. Consult your financial advisor, do your own research. But yeah, that's, the more I look at it, the more I think that that's a likely scenario there. So let's think positive. Hopefully it does, and hopefully it keeps going up. But I can see a lot of people shorting this section here and then targeting here as your profit. So let's move on to look at something else. Let's look at Bitcoin. BTC. Let's look at the futures for Bitcoin. I'm not sure if that's what I saw yesterday. Yeah, I think I looked at this yesterday. So, so today's price action has been similar. So it's pretty much at a horizontal now. You see? So if we draw the horizontal there, and then we draw pretty much up here. So yeah, so these two little horizontal lines act as like a little buying zone, an order block, whatever you want to call it. Some people might say no, that it's actually an order block is more like the like consolidation areas like that. I don't know. I don't care what you want to call it. Call it whatever you want to call it. I just draw horizontals, and if it matches, then sweet. I just try not to overthink it. So right now we are on a daily. We touched the 200 EMA, and that's acting as support, and is basically bouncing between the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA. 200 being the purple and the red being the 50 EMA. And we are, am I looking at on the daily. On the weekly, we have, what is that little thing? Oh, that's like a little percentage. I've drawn some, what did I do? Oh, I was drawing some ABCD levels here. I don't know what let me clear the, okay. So let's start from scratch. Let's go to the weekly here on the futures. The futures is always interesting because since the big fund managers typically use this to do the smart money, quote unquote, uses this market to trade. I believe that the numbers that we're getting are better than on spot. Spot meaning the price, like if you look at Coinbase or Kraken or any of those exchanges. So we have a 61.8. Obviously, we went below it at the recent lows. And then let's draw another one. So you can see that we had this pullback. We went all the way up. We went just above the 50%. And where does that leave us? We can actually draw another Fibonacci, which will actually be much more valid because it's literally what happened just now. So let me take, I hate all these lines, it starts messing with me. So let me take, I'll leave that bigger one there just to have a bigger scope of what's going on. So we have a retracement that so far has gone down to the 50% level, also in confluence and in correlation with the stock market. Some people say that it's not correlated to the stock market. I don't know, this price action tells me differently. So on the weekly, we have a break below the 20 EMA, and we just about tested the 50 EMA. We never did. We actually pulled back up, and we're slightly below the 20 EMA. God, my head's all messed up today. So will we see the 61.8? I don't know, no idea, but it's looking a lot like this price action is in line with the with the S&P, with the general stock market. So let me draw another one of these ABCDs, and this one looks like the target was hit. Yeah, so the target was hit down here with this one. So, which lined up with that 50% level. So that was a nice little trade had you been in on it. So where do we see ourselves going? So it depends if you want to draw a Fibonacci towards the upside. Do it like this. So let me change this to yellow. I should just do this once and for all. All right. So if you believe that we're bullish and we're going to use the 200 EMA as support, which looks like we have, and we're going to bounce up. So it looks like a target of 61.8 being the 11,105. I keep saying the 61.8, but I honestly, I guess it is. It's a 61.8 of this particular thing, but it's a funky way of doing it. But anyways, that gives us a target of about 11,100, which is, yeah, it's not shabby. There's like a horizontal here. Like if we take this high, I guess if we drew it real quick, sort of around that region. Again, doesn't have to be exact, but you can see we have a tag, support, resistance, broke through, support, resistance. So there's resistance there, and if it breaks above that, then we'll see. But if it does break, I can't talk today. If it does break above that, then that would give us actually some nice market structure, because that would be, I assume that this would be just a big ass W, like if you go from back here. But yeah, I'm not even gonna go into that. It's just, I'm not gonna dream of what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna look at the analysis and the charts and let the charts tell me what may happen. So we on the stochastic, on the daily, we're doing basically the same thing as in the S&P. We're actually curling we just curled up slightly, so I can see just a bounce off of that. Now how high are we going to go? I have no idea. Let's see. This is the optimistic high, I would say, and a more, like, if, I don't know, I guess the 38.2 would be your first stop on the upside, right? So you're looking at about 92.75, 9,300, give or take, 93.20, give or take. That would be your area there, which would line up with this 20 EMA. If we do break above that, then maybe the 61.8 to the 78.6. So somewhere between 10,200 and 9,800, 9,835. And if we do break above that, then I can see us hitting that. So there's different levels there of areas to hit, assuming that this does become a swing low. So if that becomes a swing low, then we're looking at the 38.2, so 9,300. Then if it breaks that, 98.35 to 10,200. And if it does break above that, then we break this high, which would be very bullish in my eyes. And then we would see a first target of 11,100, give or take. But let's go back and see that we hit that 50% level. But there is support here at the 200. I'm not sure if we're going to hit that 61.8, to be honest with you. I don't know. There's a horizontal down here, basically around here. Kind of, give or take. And then there is kind of like where we are now. So there's different levels of that's in play here. I don't know. I don't want to guess about this, like where it may or may not go too much, except for what I've said. I mean, it's hard. And the reason I say that is because it's been so volatile the last couple of days that I don't want to bring any fear or hope or anything to anyone. I just want to kind of like put it out there, like what I'm seeing and whatnot. So it's because it's hard to say, it's hard to form a bullish opinion, except for the fact that it's at the 50 and the 200 EMA, and the stochastic is kind of curling up. The RSI on the daily still doesn't look very hot, so it's still kind of like market structure breaking down. So there could be continued. So we have some conflicting signs here, and when I see conflicting signs, I don't like to take a trade unless I'm planning on average dollaring in. So if you're planning on average dollaring in, then yeah, layer your buys as it goes down. I could see confluence both ways, but I can see a bounce, honestly, because it's stochastic, the 200 EMA and the 50 being hit, and then I think we've been in this range for a good, yeah, for like about a day, 2 days, where we're in this little section here. So yeah, we'll see. If you're bullish, you're gonna definitely want to hope that it goes in your direction and goes up to 11,100. And if you are bearish, how low can this go? I don't even want to think about it, but I think I'll just stick to this, excuse me, this Fibonacci here, and I'll say that if I was truly bearish, I would see a break. I would have to see it first break down below the 200. There's this 50% level and the 200 EMA. Let me see if it's closed on the 4-hour below that. Yeah, well, obviously it's going to change. So, but we never actually closed. We actually had a wick down or a shadow down, but a 4-hour close below the 50% level. So that's bullish in my opinion. So it looks like we're dear God, today can't talk. Consolidating. That took effort. Here. So if it does break down, then the 61.8 to the 78.6 would be my target. I mean, I don't want to overcomplicate it. So if I am bearish, I'm looking for, if it does break down and we have at least a 4-hour close below the 200, below the 50% level, yeah, I would shoot between 8,045 and 7,300. More specifically, this horizontal here would be my little choice, so 78.45, and then let's see where these line up. Yep. 74. So yeah, so this $400 region would be more specifically the target that I would be looking at, which happens to line up in between the 61.8 and the 78.6. So that would be my bearish. Let me draw my bear box. Sounds horrible. So obviously, bearish box there. And did I delete the other one? Crap. I think I did. So up here would be my box of happiness. Oops. But again, if we draw this Fibonacci, where are you? Swing high to swing low. Ideally, I would want to see a pullback here. So it's hard to say. If I'm bullish, I want to see for it to break above this 38.2, which is 9,300. I definitely want for that to happen. And if we do break that level, then I can see continuation up to this region here. Now this would be a major resistance because everybody is most likely going to sell around here. A lot of people might have bought in this section, this region here, and they're like, oh, thank God I came back up here, and they just unload what they bought because they broke even. Or even if they took a small loss, they're like, whew, got that out of the way. But if we're able to just bust through this, then I can see for sure. If we're able to break above the 78.6, which is a 10,200, I honestly see this target of 11,000 being hit. I see it. Because we've already had enough resistance there. So if it just blows quickly above that, I think 11,000 would be your target, maybe as high as the 13,885 region, which is that 1.272 you see up here. But that would be ultra bullish. And for that to happen, you would have to hope that they announce a vaccine for the coronavirus. You want to have a lot of things headed your direction. So I'm going to end it there. Gave some upsides on the Bitcoin, downsides on the Bitcoin. I know I rambled on. I do that a lot. I apologize. I'll try to get better at that. And also gave you some ideas of where I see the S&P 500 going, specifically on the E-mini futures contracts. And it's looking bearish with a short-term upside. It sounds funny when I say it like that, but so this is where we are now. So my short-term upside being about the 38.2, and so upside, and then bounce back down to the downside, where I think if that does happen, I can see us hitting this this little section down here, the 70.6. So let's hope that doesn't happen, unless you're putting puts or shorting this, then that would be amazing for you to short here. I'm not going to say that, like, because I don't want for somebody to do that and then like, hey, dude, you freaking told me to do this. I'm not a financial advisor. I just do what I do. I'm just a guy online. Don't make a crazy financial decision because of me. Consult a financial advisor, your own research, chart to your heart's content. Make sure it goes, that you're confident in your trade before you pull the trigger. Even after speaking to a financial advisor, make sure that you feel confident in your trade. So yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye out on this. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put a little bit of an alertsy right around 3,000. So that way I know what's up. And yeah, that's basically it. So I wish I could end this on a more positive, but it is what it is. I don't know if I'll do something this weekend. I doubt it. I never do. But if I do, I guess you'll see it. And if not, then I'll see you Monday. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.